395, we're in hours of service. 395.2 is definitions. You asked me how long the driver should record at a shipper receiver, right? See this section right here? This is the federal definition for on-duty time. A logbook has 4 duty statuses. Off-duty, which quite frankly is never defined in the regs. Second duty status, sleeper berth. Sleeper berth is defined in 393.76. And it says if you're physically in the sleeper berth, and it gives you measurements, and it requires that you have linen, right? If you have a sleeper berth and you're physically in there, that's line 2. Line 1 is off duty. The regs define sleeper berth. The regs define driving. It means at the controls of the vehicle. Highlighted blue right here, the regs define on duty. The regulations do not define the off-duty status. Why? Because if you're not in the sleeper, you're not driving, and you're not on duty, then you're off duty. So the default duty status is off duty. Now to talk about your driver at a shipper receiver and what they should record as on duty time and for how long. See the definition right here on your screen? This is your answer. Let's go through it. On duty time means all time the driver is working and until he's relieved from working. So on duty time means anything he's doing that's work is on duty. If he's not at work, he's not on duty. If he's driving, he's driving. If he's in the sleeper, he's in the sleeper. But if he's not working and not driving and not in the sleeper, he's off duty. Then it gives you example. On duty time shall include. If we want to educate our drivers, we need to make them understand every single bit of what this definition says. Number 1, if you're at a plant, a terminal, a facility, or other property, or a shipper waiting to be dispatched, and here's the key, unless relieved from duty by the motor carrier. Oh, so if I'm at a shipper and what I'm physically doing right now is not work, and the motor carrier has clearly relieved me of duty for work, then I can be at the shipper off duty. Example, if the shipper has a break room, off duty. If I'm sitting in a parked vehicle, which I'll get to in a minute, off duty. If I'm sitting under a tree reading a book, I'm off duty. However, I am not off duty if I am working and my motor carrier has not relieved me. If I'm supervising, counting the pieces removed from my trailer, that's work. You can't do off duty when you're actually working, right? So when you say how many minutes do I need to show loading and unloading? How many minutes did it take? If it took 7 minutes, you show 7 minutes. If it took you 38 minutes to supervise and count the pieces, then you are on duty for 38 minutes. You are on duty for the exact amount of minutes that it took you to do that on-duty activity. When you're not doing that on-duty activity, you record off duty as this definition says. So number 1, I just said. Number 2, if you're inspecting, servicing, or conditioning a motor vehicle, maintenance. If you're washing it, changing light bulbs, doing maintenance, doing a pre-trip, that's all on duty. Driving. Well, driving means driving time, and that's line 2. Get this one. All time in the CMV. If you're in the truck and you're not in the sleeper berth, you're in the cab of the truck, that's on duty unless, because it says other than. Time spent resting in a parked vehicle. Oh, so let's say I'm backed up to the dock. Doors open, backed up, and they're unloading me, but I don't have to count pieces. And they tell me, go wait in your truck until we tell you that we're done, right? Am I resting in a parked vehicle? Yeah. Can I be off duty sitting in my truck while they're unloading me? Yes, as long as the motor carrier has relieved me. Now let's say while I'm sitting there and they're unloading to me, I go take a nap in the sleeper berth. Well, then you should record that as line 2, sleeper berth, right? Line 3 is driving. I think I said 2 is driving earlier. That was wrong. Line 3 is driving. So if I am backed up to the dock door and they're unloading me and I'm not working and I'm in my seat holding onto the steering wheel reading a book, that's off duty. If I'm laying in the sleeper reading a book, then that's sleeper berth, right? And then up to 3 hours in a passenger seat, that's if I'm a team driver. Now it says all time loading or unloading, supervising the unloading and unloading. So if you're not relieved from work, then all that time should be on duty. If you're counting the pieces and you have to sign that none of them were damaged and you physically watch them unload, then that's on duty time. If they say due to COVID, don't come in here, you go sit in your truck and you wait and leave us alone. You're not working, then that's off duty. All time sitting on the road for a disabled vehicle. If you're waiting for a disabled vehicle to get fixed, that's on duty. If you submit a drug test, if you perform work for other than the motor carrier or for another motor carrier. So get this last one. If you're a bartender on the weekends, tending bar on a Saturday night, you need to put that in your logbook. You're performing compensated work for someone other than the motor carrier. You can't drive a truck all week and on the weekend 10 bar and not put that in your logbook. That's not a 34-hour restart, right? So to answer your question specifically, how many minutes do you need for a pre-trip? As many minutes as it took. How many minutes do you have to have on duty at a shipper? Every single minute where you met the definition of on duty. The rest of the time can be off duty or sleeper, right? Unless you're using yard move at the shipper receiver, which is one of the training modules that we've got online now.